I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
Leaked footage from Gervonta Davis's training camp has surfaced, showing him going toe-to-toe with heavyweight-sized sparring partners as he prepares for his upcoming clash with Jake Paul.
Stop closing up, gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
The footage shows Tank unleashing his power against towering opponents, making it clear he's unfazed by the size gap. His team reportedly set up these brutal sparring sessions to harden his edge and shut down critics who question whether he can hold his own against larger fighters. Gervonta Davis has been pushing his limits in training, taking on opponents far bigger than himself, heavyweights and power punchers built to test his strength and timing. These grueling sessions reveal just how confident he is, refusing to stay confined to his own weight class as he challenges fighters who outweigh him by a wide margin. Jake Paul has built his entire career on picking fights that spark buzz and stir debate. Nothing he does is random. Every matchup is carefully crafted to tilt slightly in his favor, yet never so much that it kills the suspense. Whether it's the weight gap, the experience difference, or a clash of styles, Jake always finds the angle that gives him an edge while keeping fans hooked. That balance between control and danger is what makes his fight so captivating. Everyone knows he's calculated, but they can't ignore the thrill of the risk. Each bout becomes a story, a tug-of-war between advantage and uncertainty, a gamble that leaves fans holding their breath as the first bell echoes.
Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And they're about to fight. It just feels like Jake Paul is always picking fights where he has a massive advantage. Like now he's fighting Gervonta Davis, who's, I don't know how much smaller, but probably close to like 80 pounds smaller, which is a crazy significant weight advantage for Jake Paul. Now, you have to also look at the other way. Gervonta has a crazy advantage over Jake Paul. He has incredible amount of skill, more years of training. For sure, pound for pound, he would mop the floor with Jake Paul. But this is what makes the fight exciting. And two guys fighting, and we don't know who's going to win. Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And they're about to fight. Somebody's about to say go, and these guys got to go at it. So that's what makes a fight exciting. And so this is kind of that. Because if they were the same weight, none of us would tune in. We'd be like, this is just a punching bag for Gervonta. It doesn't make the fight exciting. But because Jake Paul is so big, so much bigger, it makes the fight exciting.
Promoter Eddie Hearn believes the upcoming fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul crosses a line boxing should never approach. He insists the heart of the sport lies in true competition, not in theatrical showcases built purely for hype. To him, this matchup feels more like a performance dressed up as a fight. The size gap alone makes it hard to call it fair. Jake Paul, naturally bigger and stronger, against Gervonta, a lighter fighter known for speed and precision. Hearn warns that when boxing leans too far into entertainment, it starts to lose the essence that made it a respected craft. In his eyes, this isn't a battle of skill, but a business production built to chase attention and money, a move that could chip away at the honor the sport has earned through generations of discipline, grit, and sacrifice.
Always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I know that I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, you know, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round. I don't know what it is, but I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between just because you don't like it doesn't mean isn't going to do good business. However, you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
In the meantime, then, Eddie, where does that leave you with Anthony Joshua? Are you exploring other options for the end of this year, or are you still looking at that fight for the
Yeah,
beginning?
no, we're not interested in the Jake Paul fight right now. After that, I mean, like, we're not going to wait around till November. Is it November or December, whenever it is,
November?
and yeah, and see how he gets on. I mean, if he gets chinned by Gervonta Davis, we can't exactly make the Anthony Joshua fight.
Former champion Paolo Malignaggi takes a more grounded approach to the upcoming fight. He reminds fans that this isn't an official boxing match, it's a show. He makes it clear there's no betting, no ranking implications, and no real impact on either fighter's career. To him, it's a modern-day exhibition, built to entertain rather than to push professional limits. Malignaggi says fans should enjoy it for what it is, spectacle, not competition. His view captures the frustration of boxing purists who see the sport drifting further into showmanship and away from integrity. Yet, his honesty also acknowledges the reality. This is what boxing's business has become, a world where charisma and promotion often carry more weight than belts or titles.
When I watch it, I don't. I just think he's fighting opponents that, are not with it anymore or are too small for him and whatnot. But in this situation, it is an exhibition. So you've got to keep in mind that this could be set up. This could be like WWE. This one could be set up. I don't know. I'm not saying it is, but this is not a sanctioned fight, champ. This is an exhibition. And an exhibition means you cannot bet on it. You cannot bet on the result. If you remember, this is why they changed the Mike Tyson fight from an exhibition to a real fight, because they realized, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition. There is no betting on it. So that means I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing, because this is something that, as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing: Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the guy. That's a lot of weight, Carl. You've been in a boxing ring. That still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is, if the gloves are small, Jake could also hurt Gervonta, because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him. So do you make the gloves big, and then really who's got an advantage? I don't know. Technically Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show, and that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
Wade Plemons from *, the Wade Concept * calls Jake Paul a master manipulator, someone who knows exactly how to turn fame and ego into weapons. Jake doesn't just fight with his fists, he fights with mind games. He builds tension, provokes reactions, and transforms every challenge into a viral spectacle. Wade explains that Jake pulled Gervonta Davis into this matchup using money, attention, and the promise of massive paydays, bait that was simply too big to ignore. Jake's mix of confidence and marketing genius turns every fight he touches into a global headline. He understands that the true victory isn't only about what happens inside the ropes, but about owning the story, before, during, and long after the final bell.
Also, and again, Jake's only been boxing for 5, 6, 7 years now. It isn't necessarily far-fetched to try to have his own advantages when trying to fight other boxers that have been far more experienced than him. But this one's a little too much, right? This one is crazy because of the massive weight difference. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But again, as far as a sport fight is concerned, I want to make sure I make that clear. Again, this is not me hating on it, because I do think that both guys have been very upfront with what they're doing in this fight. and what their goals are with these kind of events. But the narrative Jake's trying to create as if this is like proving anything for him fighting a real fighter when Gervonta is so much smaller than he is. It'll prove something in the fact that Jake is willing to put on great events, but it won't prove anything to the people that are asking him to fight a real fighter. I will say though, if Jake goes out and flatlines Gervonta, the casual audience that will say Gervonta smokes Jake completely and utterly, like it wouldn't even be close, that will change their minds a little bit. Not the people that know boxing, but the people that are going to watch this, the casual viewer that know the name Gervonta Davis and know the name Jake Paul. If he is to compete with Gervonta at all or look good in that fight, people will in some way accept that. Or they'll do the other thing where they just say the fight's rigged, which has never been the case, but you get what I'm saying. What Jake is doing is trying to convince a casual audience that he belongs in the ring with bigger names. If he's able to hurt Gervonta at all, that might actually do it.
Despite the circus atmosphere surrounding the event, Gervonta Davis is treating it like a genuine test. Those close to his camp describe him as laser-focused, disciplined, and completely locked in. His sparring partners have been noticeably bigger, a clear sign he's embracing the physical challenge head-on. Reporters who've watched him at press events mention his calm composure and unwavering focus. The noise around the fight doesn't seem to touch him. For Davis, this isn't about fame or attention, it's about proving that skill and precision can rise above size and spectacle. This one feels personal. It's his chance to stand up for boxing's technical heart in a matchup built to push him to his limits, both physically and mentally.
In the press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's going to get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff.
The fight has split the boxing world right down the middle. Some fans call it an insult to the sport's integrity, while others see it as a fresh way to modernize boxing and pull in new audiences. Supporters of Gervonta Davis say this is his moment to expose the gap between a true fighter and a showman. On the other side, Jake Paul's fans argue that he's breaking barriers, breathing life into a sport that struggled to capture younger viewers. It's more than a matchup, it's a clash of generations. One side defends boxing as a disciplined art, the other embraces it as entertainment for a new era. But no matter which side you're on, one thing's certain, the fight has done exactly what Jake Paul does best, get the whole world talking about him.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face, yeah, they're gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. Would you say number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur, that he ain't gonna do him no favors, that he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean, that's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups, you know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of corny, you know what I'm saying? If he not gonna fight Shakur, and if he's standing on it like, I'm not ever gonna fight you, I'm not doing you no favors, and all right. But then again, you know what? I don't know what them guys got going on. I don't know what they've been through personally. You know what I'm saying? But would I love to see that fight? Hell yeah, I would love to see that fight. And then number 3, you said what? You said
Retirement.
The retirement. Oh, boxing. Boxing. They're around. They're around. It's always gloves around. It's on you. It's on you. I'm chilling. You all right? Yeah, get with me. I know. How you feel? Dark skin boy. That's my man. The retirement is like he done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is this business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You like, why do I have to deal with all of this?
The outcome of this fight could shape where boxing heads in the years ahead. If Jake Paul comes out on top, the sport may lean further into influencer versus boxer spectacles, where fame outweighs rankings and showmanship overshadows legacy. Those fights might flood the spotlight and bring huge audiences, but they could also push real champions into the background. On the other hand, if Gervonta Davis wins convincingly, it could restore faith in traditional boxing, proving that skill, experience, and discipline still triumph over hype. This isn't just a fight between two men, it's a statement about what kind of boxing the world wants, one built on honor and mastery, or one fueled by attention and spectacle. And yet, despite all the criticism, millions are waiting to watch. Traditional boxing is often accused of being too slow, too predictable. Jake Paul's fights are anything but. They're fast, chaotic, and bursting with shock value. Fans love to hate him, but they never look away. His style breaks the rules, turning every moment into a global headline. Every punch feels like a risk. Every round, a question mark. Whether people cheer or boo, they're still watching, because the chaos Jake brings into the ring is exactly what keeps the world hooked.
The purists hate it, the algorithm loves it, and both will watch. It's not just who wins, it's what wins. Will the entertainment value or the ring IQ come out on top? Because if Tank dominates, the meme dies. Jake Paul survives or hits it big, we see new rules are going to be written in real time. Me, you, maybe everyone at some point has been that bigger guy thinking that I'll just bully him. Jab, slip, liver shot, sat me down real nicely. Size helped until it didn't. All I'm saying is let's not dismiss something because it looks weird. Many fights get decided by the details. Feet before fists, timing before muscle, discipline before clout. Look, Tank wins if he stays Tank. He's built on patience, traps, explosive counters. That's hell for a tall guy who gets eager. Jake's long jab is the gate, but Tank's head movement is the key. Once he times it, the door's getting open and the furniture is going to get rearranged. Think locksmith versus padlock. Big padlock looks scary until the right tool clicks once. Jake throws that overhand like he's bowling with the shoulder. Effective.
The matchup between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul is forcing fans to question what real boxing even means anymore. It doesn't follow the usual path of climbing rankings, defending titles, or chasing championship belts. Instead, it lives somewhere between professional competition and pure spectacle. Traditionalists argue that fights like this chip away at boxing's credibility, while others believe they're what keep the sport alive in the age of social media. What makes this one so unusual is that both fighters are still in their prime. Exhibition bouts usually feature legends long past their peaks, not two men still building their legacies. That's what makes this fight feel so strange, blurring the line between athletic competition and global entertainment. But this battle isn't just about who hits harder. It's about identity. Gervonta Davis embodies the disciplined, old-school fighter who earned his name through years of grit and precision. Jake Paul represents the new-era showman, a businessman and entertainer who built his empire through personality and strategy. Both paths have power, but only one will shape boxing's future. And if Davis walks away with the win, it could serve as a sharp reminder that real boxing skill still matters more than any marketing campaign.
Fights like this with fighters pretty much in their prime. But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering why has Tank taken this fight, and those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser, because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career, and for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. Until next time, keep your gloves up, your mind sharp, and your eyes on the ring. Boxing Glove.